2018, a local elementary school teacher named Eliza Nelson was looking for a new product to capture her students' interest in nature. Calling on her New England roots, she tapped 12 Oregon big leaf maple trees. The goal? To make homemade maple syrup.
Well, today that simple idea has grown into an educational nonprofit called the Oregon Maple Project. Tony has a story in today's all-new Show and Tell.
So this nondescript bottle is syrup, and it's not from Vermont, and it's not from Canada. It is from right here in Colton, Oregon. When did we first start realizing that we could make maple syrup from Oregon maple trees?
Within the past 5-ish years, people have started tapping big leaf maple trees to make maple syrup. So at Oregon Maple Project, we do field trips twice a week with kids from local schools. We also do sugaring workshops where we teach adults how to sugar in their own backyard, collect
Sugaring
sap.
means how to make syrup.
Yeah, so collect sap to then boil it down to make syrup, yeah.
Is it a complicated process?
No, it's actually really simple.
And then we'll just tap that in.
So basically, you're just getting the sap out of the tree, you boil it, you do a few other things to it, and then you get, at the end of the day, a little bit of syrup.
This is a part of what we just boiled down. And it took 100 of these to get 1 full gallon of syrup.
When you have a workshop, you'll have, a few dozen people here.
Yeah.
What kind of information are you giving them?
We're teaching how to tap your trees, what tools you need to get started, and then we also offer to be a part of our sugaring collective. And that you can use the evaporator that we have, which is bigger capacity, and people can tap trees in their own backyard, collect the sap, and bring it to us in the spring, and we boil it down in a community boil. Yeah.
And the evaporator is kept in the sugar shack. Is that not the most adorable thing in the world, that you get to work at a place called the Sugar Shack, and it really is literally a sugar shack?
And that's what they call them on the East Coast, too. And it's really a community gathering space, and that's why Oregon Maple Project was founded, to build community through tapping big leaf maple trees.
And it's almost like gardening in a way, where you plant a seed and then eventually something's going to grow from that. But is that part of the beauty of it, do you think?
Definitely. Yeah, our theory or our mantra here is that not everything should be convenient. And so even though it takes so much hard work, it's really a part of the process.
Of course, the big question on everyone's mind, what does it taste like?
That's a really tough question for me to answer. I think it had a lot more depth to it and a lot darker flavor. It's been called the espresso of maple syrup, so it's not as sweet as what you would taste on the East Coast, but it's still really delicious.
Here I go. Now see, that tastes very sweet to me, but I get what you mean about it being maybe more like earthy, but not like in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sweet.
We're at the beginning of what people are calling the maple movement, and there's a lot of research happening, and so we're kind of right at the beginning of this thing really taking off. The interest is there and the demand is high.
Yeah, and we've really glossed over the process. There's a lot more to learn, and you can learn all of that, of course, in one of Ella's workshops. But the big takeaway is that these trees are abundant. They're right here in our area, and you can make a wonderful product from them. And I'm gonna have one more little taste, if that's okay with you.
Please.
Okay, just one more little drop for the road, because we're out here in Colton. It's a long drive home. Delicious. So nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks,
and good luck with
Tony.
all this. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Taste test.
Okay.
Taste test time. Ladies, what do you think?
Definitely get the earthiness you're talking about right off the bat.
It isn't like sugary sweet, but it's sweet, right?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I think I love it. I love that it's not so sweet.
It almost has a savory feel to it, a profile.
Ella was saying a lot of people will use it like for cooking, like to deglaze carrots.
Oh my gosh.
There was one neighbor in Washington who is selling it commercially in like an 8-ounce bottle. It's like $40, so it's definitely expensive. But again, the idea here for the Oregon Maple Project is that you do your own. Just gather the sap, the syrup, and they'll help you kind of process it all and walk through the whole thing.
That's so cool.
And it's meant, like she said, not to be convenient. It's a
Right.
process, and that's part of the joy of
The
it.
patience of it, and I love, you know what, then you see the process, and you're like, okay, $40. I mean, you know,
It
with
makes
the
sense.
time and effort that they put into it.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing us a taste.
You're welcome.
That is one of the neatest stories I've
Isn't it?
seen.
I
So
love
cool. I
that.
don't know if
It's
you
been a
can see
long
that.
time. Tony, that's great.
And we
and
have
that-
information, about the Oregon
we put
Maple
a
Project.
link to Oregon Maple Project's website on our news app, so just to check it there, you can find out everything you need to know about it.
I love it. I have a
would be
feeling
really
people
good.
are going to be checking it
Like
out.
deglazing it with vegetables. It'd be
Exactly.
so delicious.
Or put it in coffee
Yeah.
or other kinds
Yes.
of things.
I bake almond flour cookies, and I usually sweeten it with maple syrup. And
my
I
gosh.
would love to
Interesting.
see what this would taste like instead of just a
And
teaspoon.
it truly, it does have like a little bit of savory
Yeah, I
flair
love
to
it.
it, but it's
I
delicious.
love
Almost
that.
a little smoky.
Yeah.
Yes. Tony,
Well,
thank
and
you.
each crop is different.
Yeah.
Much like grapes. I
That
mean,
makes sense.
the weather can change the flavor profile a little bit here and there. So,
Ooh.
Awesome.
I know way too much about it.
I know we could sit here picking your brain forever, but I suppose we got to talk about the weather. Thank you, Tony.
I'd rather talk about more eating, actually.
Yes.
Super tasty.